Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Today we're looking at 3 casual builds to play in Season 24, which is the season of Ethereals. All 3 of these builds have got absolutely no stress, they're easy to play. You will be able to use pretty much any Ethereal you find with all of them, which is obviously pretty nice. So the Season 24 starts on the 23rd of July. The theme is Ethereal items, and this is basically a weapon class that's been added to the game. They drop with a random legendary power from a weapon on them. Some classes have got lots of powers and it could be pretty much anything. Some classes have not got too many and it's a much tighter pool. We're looking to find builds where it doesn't necessarily matter what the legendary power is. Do not get me wrong, there is always a best in slot, but with these 3 builds that I'm going to show you, you will be able to take any Ethereal you get dropped and you'll be able to play with it, and that is obviously going to feel pretty nice. You are also going to get a random passive on your Ethereal, and again, I really wouldn't worry about that as a casual player. Just ignore it. If you get something useful, then obviously great. Now, before we do jump in and start looking at the builds, as always, a like brightens my day tremendously, and I will link the Twitch stream in the description. I think we're probably going to do a bit more extreme hardcore today, so if you are interested, do stop by. I'll be streaming on the 24th. I can't do the 23rd, which is the season launch, unfortunately, but I will be getting at it as fast as I can on Saturday morning. Now, I've got guides to all 3 of these builds, so I will link them in the description. I'll put some gameplay footage up for you to have a look at. But let's jump in and look at the first one, which is going to be the Gears of Dreadland's Demon Hunter. Now, this is one of my favourite builds at the moment. I've been playing this pretty much since its release. For a casual player, I think it's actually improved since its release. It is stronger. It's only really the push build that got nerfed. Now, I think this is always in with a shout for one of the most efficient things that you can play in a season, particularly if you're either casual in terms of your game time, so you don't have much, or you're casual in terms of you're not very interested in putting everything together 100% correctly. Now, you'll get a ton of XP from using this build. You'll get a ton of gems done because it is very fast. It's probably the second easiest build in the game that's strong to play. It's a very easy build to set up. You don't need any weapons specifically. Now, you will take a Dawn, which will reduce your Vengeance cooldown by up to 65%. You will take a Fortress Ballista normally for a shield. That's what I'd recommend as a casual player. Now, Dawn is a very hard item to roll. It's obviously a rare legendary power to get on an Ethereal, and it rolls in a massive range, so it is kind of hard to get a nice one. Ballista again does have range, but it doesn't matter too much. Now, what we're going to do with a Gears of Dreadland's Demon Hunter for casual play is you're going to put the Dawn in the cube, and if you don't hit a Ballista on your Ethereal item legendary power, you're just going to take a Molten Wildebeest Gizzard gem, which is the shielding gem, and that will have pretty much the same effect. So that means that any kind of Ethereal you get with any legendary power on it, you will be able to use, provided you've got the Dawn in a cube and a Gizzard gem. Now, the one that you want probably for the most power is going to be the buriza-do. This is the 2-handed crossbow. It gives +1 damage up to 800 Paragon, which in this game, plus 800 damage is a big deal. It will grow in power as you grow in Paragon, which is nice. So it is probably the most damaging option. But the Doomslinger, which is the 1-handed crossbow, is also very nice. It's got 30% move speed after killing an elite. So that's kind of fun for T16. It's kind of fun for speed farming. By all means, you certainly can use that. The third Ethereal for the Demon Hunter is not that great. This is the Wind Force. It buffs archery skills by 200%. Even though we do have an archery skill as a Gears of Dreadland's Demon Hunter, our damage comes from Hungering Arrow, so we don't benefit from the extra damage, but you could certainly use it. You could put it on, you could have a Dawn in the cube, your Series Satchel on your character, and you'd still benefit from having an Ethereal item. It just might not necessarily be as useful as taking one of the others, but you will still, at the end of the day, be able to play it. So I think Gears of Dreadlands is a fairly solid option. Great build anyway, and if you do just want to play around with those Ethereals, then by all means it's something that will work, albeit you will obviously want to set it up as best you can to get as far as you can in the game. Now the second one that we've got is a fan favorite. This is the Whirlwind Barb, so spin to win. This has been in the game for quite a while in its kind of buff state now. It is very popular because it is so strong. It is probably one of the easiest, if not the easiest build in the game to play. It's incredibly tanky, and other than the actual Wrath of the Waste suit, which is the Whirlwind suit, the only thing that you need is an Ambo's Pride in the cube. Now that's a mighty weapon. It doesn't roll on a range, so if you do happen to get it on an Ethereal, it's absolutely perfect straight away, which is pretty good. I personally liked the Grimshred Ethereal, so this was the throwing axe one, and it gives move speed after you kill an elite. Again, I'll link the T16 guide that we did. I will make a GR speed guide when we get to the season, but the Grimshred will make you move faster, which is always fun. You can take the Doombringer sword for a bit of damage reduction, and it looks like a lot of the push options will be with the two-hander, the Grandfather, because again, similar to the buriza-do, it adds damage based on Paragon, so it does hit pretty hard. Now the only thing that you might worry about in Whirlwind is not having enough Fury, because normally you take the set weapons, which are the Bulkathos green blades. They give you automatic Fury generation and make the build very easy to play, but it's something you can get around. You just have to make sure you take Wind Shear as the rune on the Whirlwind, which generates Fury when you hit. You probably want to take the Unforgiving passive, which again adds Fury, and you just need to make sure you have a couple of Fury generating skills in your build, and you should be good to go. Very popular, very strong, very tanky. Spin to win, baby. You know it makes sense. And then finally, this is a new kid on the block, so we haven't really had a season to play with this, but this is going to be the Inner Monk. Again, it's another one of these ones that's very strong. It is very easy to build because, again, it's not overly reliant on weapons. In fact, it's the least reliance of weapons of any of these three builds, which is why I would probably say this is the #1 pick for casual, ethereal, no stress play. Now, obviously, there are best in slot things. You would be looking for a Flying Dragon two-handed Dabo power. You'd be looking for a Furnace power, maybe an Ingeome power, but none of those things are essential, and you can play inners with pretty much anything. Now, you can go for the Jade Talon. That's what we're using in the footage. That was my personal favorite. That gives you attack speed, which is very good for inners, which is Mystic Allies, so it is a pet build. You can do the Cutthroat, which gives a stacking damage per second effect, so up to 100% extra damage. By all means, you can use that with inners, and you can also use the Shadow Killer. Again, they're all single-handers, and the Shadow Killer will give you damage reduction. So it does not matter what ethereal you find. It does not matter what power is on it. There's nothing even specifically you need in the cube for inners in the weapon slot. You know, as I say, those best in slot items, of course, will help you out, but you don't necessarily need them. You can find anything, and you can rock and roll with it, which is obviously great. In the background, we're doing the GR110 in 3 minutes on PTR. That was with the Jade Talon, but bear in mind on PTR, obviously we've got infinite access to gear, so it was quite easy to set up, but it was with no augments. You know, I'm sure the gear probably could have been improved. I don't like to sit there on PTR and reforge gear endlessly. It just bores me to tears. Again, I'll link the guide for you, and if you are casual, if you're coming back to the game, or you just don't want to be bothered finding the ethereals, then this would be the build that I would recommend. Now, obviously, this isn't anything to do with finding the transmog. You're going to have to play all the classes in some way or another to find the 3 ethereals for each one to get the transmog. But if you just want to come along, blast the season, enjoy the season theme, I'd recommend one of these 3 builds, with my top pick being the Inner Monk, because it's new, it's fresh, it's strong, and it probably is the easiest to set up. That is the video. I hope you have enjoyed it. I will see you post-launch for some more content. I've got a couple more videos I'm hoping to squeeze out before the season starts. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for all the support we've had across the channel over the last couple of years. It really has been amazing. I'll be back as soon as I can. Take it easy. Peace.